Okay, hello everyone. So yeah, let's get started. And today we have Garry Kasparov. All right, and so I want to start with the position that I gave to him back in 2018, and he spent about 5 minutes here, and he couldn't figure out the best solution for black. So yeah, actually, I had a privilege of knowing him personally, and we had a back in 2018 when I lived in St. Louis. We actually met quite a lot at the St. Louis Chess Club, where he was running his own school. And during one of those meetings, I showed him one of the positions from the recent, at the time, U.S. Championship. And here I was facing Wesley So, who beat me in that game. And here Wesley So and Garry Kasparov missed the easiest or the best win, I should say. All right, so it's just two moves. Okay, so not much of a calculation, but the idea is really great. So let's see if you can do better than Wesley So and Garry Kasparov.
Well,
All right, so black to move, two really good moves, and black is winning. So let's give it a try for a few minutes, and then we'll keep going.
two moves, huh?
So if you find the correct idea, then you will win this game really easily. Yeah, for those who are joining late, so here we have a position where it's black to move, and two really good moves, and black wins. And Wesley So missed this, and Garry Kasparov missed this as well. Well, and I missed it as well. So I guess everybody missed it. Okay, except Stockfish. All right, Stockfish showed this like maybe like in 2 seconds.
Black to play, black to play. Apparently black has an easy win here, two moves. We can take on b4, but then queen takes b4.
Okay, let's just give it another minute or two. So far, nobody's seen it.
Yeah, it's pretty hard. I mean, if Garry couldn't solve it, I mean, what chance? What chance do we have? Let's think.
It's a really unexpected tactic.
Maybe c4 is no c4. Probably white just takes. Yeah, I was thinking takes knight e2 check, but then there's king f2. So I'm not sure.
Okay, well, maybe it's really difficult to see this if you don't have a hint.
Yeah, I need a hint.
Maybe I'll give a hint. Let's see if you guys can find it. So the first move is a knight move.
Oh, okay,
Okay,
that's a big
and
hint.
then well, let's give it a try. I'm not saying which one though. So you have either knight can move.
Okay, guys, let's figure this out.
So it's not knight e4, it's not knight g4, it's not knight d5.
Oh, knight f5 followed by knight d5. Nice. Knight f5, if ef, knight d5. Man, that's crazy. What a
And
trick.
it's not knight h5. Okay, I guess soon we will eliminate all of the squares. Oh wow, we got one correct answer. Actually,
Man,
Daniel Azaria got this one right. Congrats.
wow.
Really good job. So knight f5 was the correct move, the one that Wesley saw, and Garry Kasparov and me, all of us missed this, and maybe even the commentators missed this as well. But yeah, knight f5, ef, and then knight d5. And what's unusual about this tactic is that, well, first of all, it's not so easy to move that knight back, right? So it's like really advanced clearance, and then discovered attack, and then if the rook moves, then we have a pin at the end, right? So which is pretty cool, and yeah, really nice tactic.
Wow.
Okay, so that was the warm up. All right, and if knight f5, then of course here black can just take with the pawn, and then the e4 pawn is falling, and once the e4 pawn is falling, the game is just
Yeah, you
over.
can't go
Okay, and the
ef5 here
pawn takes,
because
of
knight
course, we do
d5
the
again.
same thing.
Yeah.
All right. Um,
Wow. Nice.
so yeah, and why is this game memorable besides the fact that Kasparov couldn't couldn't figure this out? Oh yeah, three GMs couldn't figure this out. The two, like absolutely the best GMs in the world, couldn't figure this out. So what was interesting about this game, and in fact, um, a few months later after the championship, Wesley So actually invited me to work for him, but I rejected, and because I got a different job in New York City, so I moved to New York City instead of working for Wesley. So maybe that was a big mistake. Maybe should have accepted. But basically, what impressed him is this idea of Bishop A4, and in fact, at the closing ceremony of the United States Championship, I showed everybody like the idea behind this. And especially Nakamura was watching this quite attentively, and then he started playing this like nonstop. But basically, the idea was here in my analysis. So basically, the idea is pretty unexpected rook sacrifice. So like in this line, the black just collects the pawn on e4. The novelty was this move rook e6.
Wow.
Okay, rook e6, and in fact, white is just winning here.
Look at this.
Okay. In fact, it's not even the only idea. Also, knight c3 and then rook e6 was winning, and that's what I was showing everybody back then.
Amazing.
And the
Guys,
point
this is a free
is,
stream.
if black doesn't take,
This is a free video.
then well, this is just a much worse position because of the
Wow.
backward pawn on d6. And then black takes. Here we have bishop f4, and then basically I analyze this until mate, pretty much, which is an easy thing to do if you have all the engines and stuff. You know, it's a kind of a no-brainer. Well, like nowadays, all you need to do is just generate ideas and then check them with the engine, and that's all. So somehow I discovered this, and yeah, basically bishop a4 is like super unpleasant against knight d7. Or if knight e4, then here the point
Look at all
was
that analysis.
d4. Kind of similar ideas, e6, and here, yeah, the novelty at the time, 2018, was knight c3, and now rook e6. So pretty much no matter what, you're gonna play rook e6.
Jeez.
Okay, and yeah, and now bishop d2, surprisingly. Bishop d2, knight b5, yeah, and here I analyzed quite a bit as well. Which again, the analysis like this is pretty easy to do. And somehow black is up a rook, but the attack is just too good. Like too many discoveries. The queen is going to be under attack. You know, lots of great things may happen. All right. So yeah, that's the idea. Okay, now let's take a look at some of the most memorable, at least for me, games played by Kasparov.
Nice.
And
Let's do it.
we can get started with this one in 1993 against Karpov in Linares. Yeah, Linares 1993. Okay. So yeah, that's the year when I was born. All right, and here Kasparov goes b5. Okay, so b5 kind of makes sense. What black is trying to do is just to open up the files. All right, and it kind of makes sense to just sacrifice the d6 pawn since black is just way ahead in development. All right, 97. All of this makes sense. What's unusual is the next move. So white goes f4, and back in the day when I was looking at this, I was just expecting a pretty normal knight g4,
Right.
right? But in fact, black has something much better. So try to think about it and suggest something good.
Yeah, well-known game. Maybe someone in the chat knows this one. Okay, if you go queen h4 check, I think we have to deal with bishop f2. I'm not sure if we have a good answer there. So Yara was saying knight g4 is kind of the obvious move, but knight g4 is not always, that good. White can play bishop d4. White can also think about bishop g1. Really, bishop d4, I would think, neutralizing the bishop on g7. So Kasparov, I mean, the guy was a dynamic genius, so he comes up with some stronger
It's not
ideas.
knight g4. It's not knight g4, just to warn you. So you don't have to even think about it. It's something else.
Well, if it's not knight g4, then it's a pretty big sign. You got to look for some counter-attacking ideas here, guys. This is really like incredible game.
Maybe let's give it another minute and then we'll keep going because I prepped lots of games. It would be nice to cover the majority of them. Okay, so I see some good ideas. I mean, at least the first move, I see one answer was the correct move, but the follow-up is wrong. But basically, the point here was this move b4, okay? And the idea is if queen takes, then black has c5. And quite unexpectedly, the queen has nowhere to go. If queen b5, then just bishop a6. Queen a4, bishop e2, that's easy. And if bishop c5, then knight c5.
Wow.
And no matter what, the next move is knight d3. Which
That's
one?
so sick.
Whichever knight
That's
remains
so sick.
alive, goes to d3. Okay, and I mean, if pawn takes, then knight d3, of course. Okay, so yeah, b4, pretty cool idea, and I can't really recall seeing anything like that. This b4 and then c5,
Yeah.
like a double pawn sacrifice. I haven't seen this tactical idea before. All right, and then he goes knight g4 next, then trades. And this position is pretty much already lost for white.
Look at this. Queen
It's
on
not
g1.
so common that Karpov is white here in this game, right? That Karpov has all of his pieces on the back rank. Look at that. Almost like Stein in some good old days, Yeah, Steinitz loved putting all of his pieces on the back rank. And then here, in fact, what happened is in fact, at some point, Karpov will have all of his pieces on the back rank, like here after knight c1. So imagine you playing Karpov, right, one of the greatest players of all time, and you make that guy putting all of his pieces on the back rank like that. Pretty impressive. Not only you beating Karpov, but you also humiliating him.
Humiliating. That's
okay,
right.
and that's exactly what Kasparov is doing here. Okay, so what about next move? What should black do here?
Well, rook is under attack.
All right. So we got one of the correct answers. Okay, so let me. Okay, so we got one of the correct answers, and person wants to talk. Okay.
So here you need to go c to b. So
All
you're
right.
trying to go c2.
Yeah, perfect. Yes, you too. And how did you come up with this idea?
His pieces are too bad.
Because what about rook b2? You didn't want to make a standard move?
Maybe that's also possible, but not as fun.
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah, good job. Very good. Okay, so what happened here? Yeah, is c3 and then c2. And I mean, normal move like rook b2 was possible, but I guess it's just not as nice. And Kasparov was definitely kind of showing off here. He wanted to win the game in style. So that's why c3 and then c2. And he's temporarily down the rook, but it doesn't really matter because the king on e1 is just getting slaughtered, right? Um, so yeah, c2, and then the point is if rook c1, then pawn takes, and then just knight e5 probably is the easiest. And then I mean, here you can do pretty much whatever you like, with such wide open king on e1. And yeah, and if queen d4, as it happened in the game here, what's kind of shocking is that even after the queen trade after knight c5,
Yeah.
still Karpov managed to get mated. All right, so rook d8, king c2. Maybe he could have tried king e1, I guess. Well, but that wouldn't have changed anything really, because it would have been something like this: bishop g4,
Oh, brutal.
trying to go rook d1 mate, and after bishop e2, you can just
Knight
take,
g3.
king takes, and then knight g3, winning the rook. All right. Okay, and what happened in the game was king c2, then knight f2, and here it's just still mate. So basically, the game still ends up in the mate. Bishop f5, knight d1, and then knight b3.
Oh,
Okay, which is
hurts.
yeah. Can you imagine beating Karpov like so quickly and in such humiliating way when all of his pieces on the back rank? To me, it was like super impressive. All right,
Yeah.
can I see one look at this? All right, and then the rook sacrifice. I'm like, okay, all right. To make that rook sacrifice, you have to calculate well, and you really have to believe in yourself. All right. And here, yeah, knight e5 was also winning, but I guess knight c5 just is a little bit more precise because you have that knight b3 mate in this line.
Yeah.
Okay, let's move on to the next memorable game of Kasparov.
What an amazing game.
Okay, so the next one that I would like to share with you tonight is this one. Okay, so this one is from 1990. Okay, and this is the game that I studied back in 2011. Okay, and I was analyzing the game by myself with no engine, and also was move guessing, and was trying to calculate all the random stuff. So basically, I probably spent like 2 or 3 days on this game. All right, and that's how you should be working on chess. First of all, you should be doing all the analysis and calculation by yourself, and then you should be checking yourself with the engine. The engine is just like a teacher, who checks the answers, but you should not be asking for all of the answers immediately. All right, but anyway, so here it's white to move and try to find what Kasparov played.
Okay, famous game. Kasparov, Karpov.
So let's give it another minute or so, and then we will talk about this.
Yeah, all of White's pieces here are just set up so perfectly. It feels like it's time to do something active. But what to do? Knight takes h6, there's rook takes h6.
All right, so let's keep going. Okay. Yeah, we don't have to spend the entire 5 minutes on the timer. It's more like a default time that we're using. But ChessBase always puts 5 minutes in the timer thing. Okay. Okay. So the correct move here is knight h6. Okay. And but yeah, what's the follow up if black goes rook h6? What if rook takes the knight?
Yeah. Seems like we're going knight g5.
Because you can't just drop the knight and and then say, hey, well, I'm not quite sure what's next. Haven't calculated. And I mean, in such positions, you definitely need to calculate very precisely, because black still has a bunch of pieces in defense, and if you miscalculate, then you just end up losing the game. So it's just simply negligence if you don't calculate till the end. Right, so let's put it on the board. By the way, Karpov did not play rook h6. He played something different. All right, so here he played c3. All right. Okay, let's make it a little bit easier and play the rook h6 move on the board.
What was the point here?
Yeah, the correct move here was knight d6, if I remember correctly.
Wow.
Okay, I see lots of
knight
suggestions,
g5.
but yeah, knight d6 is the correct move. Okay, at least from what I remember. Let's check it real quick with the ChessBase Cloud. All right.
Ooh,
Just
fancy.
okay, let's get there. Okay, cool. And let's pick this engine that I like the best. Yeah, I like this one the best. All right, good. By the way, how many of you are using ChessBase Cloud?
I don't. I use Stockfish.
Anybody uses
12.
ChessBase Cloud? Nobody? All right. Yeah, it's a huge difference between the regular Stockfish, because here, like, for pretty nominal fee, I mean, the most expensive engine is like $8 an hour. The mid range is probably like $2 or $3. And basically what you get in here is that you're getting supercomputers. Okay, like the one that I'm using right now has 80 cores. Okay,
Jesus.
so which is pretty crazy. It's like 20 of my laptops. Okay, the same kind of power. And
Yikes.
yeah, and they have even 128 core computers here, and this one is 224. So basically, they're like clusters of computers, and they're much faster. Yeah, I see questions if Fat Fritz 2.0 is good. Um, from all grandmasters that I know, nobody uses anything else than Stockfish. Okay, so Stockfish and maybe LC0 occasionally, just to get a different perspective. Um, yeah, LC0 is Lila Chess 0. But yeah, predominantly it's still Stockfish. All right, and LC0, you can use Stockfish and LC0, and LC0 is um, just to check if there are any other ideas that Stockfish is not showing, because sometimes they can be pretty different. LC0 is a little bit dangerous to use in the opening analysis, because occasionally it misses tactics, but like blunders occasionally, which is not cool. Okay, but it can show something really deep strategically. Okay, so 96 96 here is apparently the best. Okay, and again, here you see 80 CPUs, which is perfect, right? And also, like when you see it reaches depth of 43, so 44 like instantly, which is pretty crazy, right? So it basically calculates like 22 full moves ahead, like in a matter of seconds. All right, so yeah, 96, and then the point is if queen d7, yeah, there was this cool move, queen g4, although it's not even the only move. What I like doing in the analysis, I like to stress test the position. Okay, so what is the stress test? Stress test is basically figuring out how many moves are winning in the position, okay? And
Interesting.
so basically how badly you should play not to win the game. All right, it gives you that margin of safety, so to speak. All right. So like in this position, we see the first two lines, but I would bet that probably at least, actually, I'm not sure. Maybe 10 moves are still winning here. 10 different moves. Like 95, queen g4. Actually, maybe no. Maybe 10 is a bit too many. Well, let's check it out. Here we can always add this magnifying glass. We can add more lines. So we have 4. Yeah, probably more like 6 or 7 moves are winning. Oh, actually 4. Wow, this is pretty crazy. Only 4 moves are winning here. Knight b7, queen g4, knight c4, knight f5, and rook g6. Rook e7 is a draw. Yeah, probably kind of makes sense because the knight is under attack. The knight is hanging. White is already down a piece. So yeah, white needs to be playing pretty fast. Okay, so like in the opening, when I see the computer shows equal sign, so like the position is equal, but I'm trying to figure out how many different moves can I make and still maintain the quality. Okay, which is a really good thing to do.
That is useful.
Okay, so yeah, it's pretty easy. All right, now we can unload the engine. So here you see I have lots of ducats. I had 2,000 and somehow 600 already disappeared. All right, yeah, sometimes they go away pretty fast. Okay. All right, so what happened in the game was c3. All right, so which kind of makes sense. Okay, c3, and then what do we do next?
Okay, so what did Garry do in this position?
All right, so far I've not seen any correct answers, but this one is a tough challenge.
Yeah.
I mean, that explains why I spent a few days on this game alone.
Yeah, king h2 is possible, threatening knight g5. King h2, maybe black goes gh.
Yeah, still not seeing any good answers. Guys, if I'm saying I'm not seeing any good answers, that means your answer is not right. So I just don't want to respond to like every single private message. So keep trying, everybody. Let's keep trying.
Yeah, not so easy.
All right, 45 seconds left. Let's see if anybody will tackle this challenge.
Yeah, my guess is just bishop c1, I
Still
think.
no,
Because
nobody.
if g takes h6, maybe we have queen d4 check. Rook e5.
See, a lot of people are trying to save the dark square bishop, but you don't have to save it.
Yeah.
The bishop will die.
No. Okay, maybe not bishop c1.
All right, time's up, and okay, actually, again, the last second we got the correct answer, and again, Daniel Azaria got this one right. Yeah, good job. Knight
Nice.
f5, pawn takes, and now queen g4. Yeah, and he got 2 moves correctly. Yeah, perfect. So just sack that bishop and get the knight back and get the queen in.
Wow.
So which makes perfect sense. All right, but as let's actually do a little let's do something different real quick. All right, so you guys try something else. So here I want to show you this position from chess.com. All right, that nobody have seen for sure. All right, and I think it was actually no, not here. second. Okay. It should be right here. So, and I assume like everybody knows that you can use chess-based history to retrieve all of the things that you've been looking at. All right, and here it is. So here it's black to move. All right, let's see if you can solve this one. And then once we do, then we'll get back to Kasparov's game.
All right, here we go. Black to play.
So, and this one, by the way, is an 1800 rated puzzle on chess.com.
I have a feeling it's not that easy.
Makes me curious how long Kasparov would take to solve this one. Especially if you tell him, oh, this is just 1800, don't worry. He'll be like, oh, is that an insult or what? Let's just take a minute or two here and see if you guys can get it. Only 1800, you know. Chess.com says nothing difficult about this one.
Okay.
Like easy peasy.
Maybe. Okay, I have an idea. I have a real idea. Maybe rook f1 check, king g3, rook f3 check. If takes, knight f1. If king takes h2, we go queen takes h4. Bishop takes f3. Bishop g4.
And guys, if queen h4, then king g1. So I keep seeing queen h4, king e2, which just doesn't make sense because black can mate in many different ways there. Queen h4, king g1 is the problem.
Rook f1, king g3, rook f3. King takes
Rook
h2.
g6, if rook g6, then king e1, and we're back to square one. That's actually how puzzles started. This is the second move into this puzzle. Rook g6, king e1, and then basically we need to go back to g1. Okay, maybe I'll give a hint. It's a rook move. The first move is a rook move, and it's not rook g6, and it's not rook f1, and it's not rook g2.
Uh-oh. Not rook f1, guys. Rook h1? No way.
Only 1800 rated on chess.com. Super easy.
You gotta be kidding me.
At least chess.com tells us that it's super
rook
easy.
h1. Unbelievable.
So
Because
let's see.
bishop
So
takes,
it's not
queen h4, king
rook
g1,
g6,
queen
it's not
g3.
rook f1, it's not rook c1, it's not rook d1. Yep, we got the correct answer actually. Okay, rook h1. Yeah, this is the best move here. All right. And what's and I'm like, if that's 1800, that I don't want to play 1800s ever. You know,
Wow.
if they keep playing like this.
1800s, you guys are tough.
So yeah, the point is, it's a pretty advanced example of blockade. Is a bishop takes, then queen h4, king g1, and now queen g3, and the king just can't eat its own bishop, right? And the bishop g2, then knight f3. Okay, and here mate is coming next. But yeah, it's pretty crazy, like how it worked out at the end, like rook h1. All right, but why I'm showing you this example, well, don't trust all of the ratings that you see online. Okay, sometimes they can be really misleading, because I think the objective strength of this example, which by the way, the initial position was king on e1, rook on g6. So basically, in the initial position, you also have to you also have to realize that queen h4 doesn't work because of king d1, king c2. So this is like the second move. Imagine you have to find rook g1 and then rook h1. I think this is like at least 2500 rated position. Okay. I wonder how much time Kasparov would take to solve this. If he, and I would bet that at least a minute, maybe more. Okay, so yeah, here he goes queen g4. All right. Now check. All right, this is all standard. If king g8 here, I think maybe just knight h6, rook h6, queen h6 should be pretty devastating. All right, and after rook h6, now knight takes, gh. All right, this is all looks pretty normal. Okay, now try to figure out what's next.
Okay, important moment.
All right, we got the right answer already, and let's just okay. And that person wants to talk, so which he will.
Rick J, no
But
good.
let's just give it another minute so other people try it as well.
And knight f6 also no good. Black will take on e1. Yeah, well-known position. I think they made a cake out of this one or something.
All right, so yeah, let's reveal the correct answer. And here we have a volunteer who wants to speak. So, all right, Aryan, you can speak up.
Here you go king h2, which is a prophylactic move to step out of the rook's way.
Yep, that's perfect. Yeah, good job. Yeah, here you have to go king h2 like a boss. All right, because that's what you need to do. Like anytime, whenever you're trying to attack your opponent's king, make sure your king is safe and out of the way, right? So you don't have to worry about anything. You never have to look back, and you can't be slowed down, right? So absolutely, we need to go king h2, and
Yeah,
now
rook
this
e2 is
is
also
just
good.
the end because knight f6 is coming, right? Knight f6, knight g5, whatever you like. Okay. Okay, so that's how you're supposed to do. How you're supposed to do it. All right, so king h2, and I've seen some suggestions like knight f6, queen e1, king h2, but it's kind of not as clean because here black has bishop e6. I think, yeah, after bishop e6, I don't think rook g8 is just not coming. And yeah, I'm just not sure what to do with white. So you have to be very precise, you know, before you attack, definitely go king h2. All right. Okay, so yeah, king h2, and after queen e5 here, just knight g5. This is kind of elementary, right? Queen f6, and then here white can win in a lot of different ways. What Kasparov did was rook e8, and now, okay, let's see, what's the what's the fanciest move here? I mean, of course, rook a8 should be winning, probably, but white has something else.
Come on, guys, we want fancy. Fancy wins only.
So this should be a question for like 1 minute max.
Mm-hmm. Move order. Gotta be careful with the move order. Knight f7, queen takes h6. Knight f7, king h7. So maybe queen takes h6 first. Kind of important. We got a raid from John Ludwig Hammer. Welcome in.
All right. We got one correct answer.
We're in the middle of a class. So I got
yeah, actually, 1 second. So we got the correct answer, and Raj, you can talk.
Okay, I did queen takes h6, since after another queen takes h6, knight f7, because like there's a pin on the king with the bishop.
Yeah.
So then after knight f7, king h7, and bishop takes f5, it just like made pretty much.
Yep. Good job. Yeah, that's correct.
nice.
Okay. And here Karpov probably should have resigned pretty much right away, but he kept on playing. I don't even know why. Whatever. I mean, probably he was too frustrated, because typically, I mean, grandmasters don't play being 2 rooks down pretty much. Okay, it's kind of ridiculous. So, but yeah, here he finally resigned. Okay. So, let's take a look at the opening line that they played. So basically, we will see how much the opening theory has changed in the past 30 years, because the game was played in 1990. All right, so who knows what's the strongest move in this position for white?
Oh boy, theory question.
Or anybody knows this position? Oh, actually, yeah. Yeah, g4, fg, knight h2. Okay, Rio knows. Okay,
Wow.
cool. And Arnav knows as well. Okay, perfect. Yeah, okay. G4 and then knight h2. Okay.
Wow.
And yeah, this stuff has been well known since I'd say 2005 or even 2006. Because I remember I was a kid and I analyzed this and I had a lot of fun. Because back in 2005 and 2006, the engines were still pretty bad, and it was quite fun to analyze stuff on your own. Okay, and by the way, who has how many of you have this subscription for ChessBase Premium, where you can do the online database and everything?
Thanks for the raid, Jan. Appreciate it.
Because if you don't have it, I would definitely suggest it, because it's a really cool thing. You can do your research really quickly. And if you have like ChessBase Cloud plus the ChessBase online database, you don't even need the mega database, you know, because really it shows you the most recent games anyway. So I don't even use mega database, by the way. Yeah, online database is super convenient. And you see Shero played g4 back in 2006, and then you can trace back the games. Wow, this stuff was played even 1994. I see, but somehow that game didn't get any traction. But you see in 2006, yeah, g4, and then Kasimdzhanov was the first one who played it, basically, who justified this idea.
Kasimdzhanov, nice.
Okay, so basically, whenever you study any game, whether you're playing that opening or not, you still need to kind of update yourself on the state of the theory in that opening. So that way you can just expand your horizons. It's really interesting to trace how it was back then. Like in 1990, still rook a3, right? Then 16 years later, 2006, right? Just g4 and 1-0. And especially when you do any sort of opening research, you need to be looking at correspondence games, because basically they just play with the engines. So it's more like advanced chess. Mainly just engines are playing. So if you see somebody really high rated, but you've never heard about that player, chances are that might be a correspondence game. So here, when I see some guy with the last name Plump, and almost 2600, I'm like, I'm gonna bet. Okay, let's say I'll bet $5,000 that's a correspondence game. Let's be conservative. Let's bet just 5,000. Right. And yep, we see correspondence game. How do I know? Because I see ICCF email. All right. So that's how you can do your research a lot faster. Okay, because here I'm gonna bet that almost every move was the first move by the engines. I mean, first move according to the engine, first line. I mean, all right. So the game is like perfect. Okay, and you see here, like I think yeah, this game is also a correspondence game. And let's take a look. Yep, it is correspondence. ICCF email. Okay, when you see weird names with high ratings, probably correspondence games. And that's exactly what you need whenever you study openings. But okay, let's move on. And now let's take a look. Okay, so yeah, let's take a look at the games that actually Kasparov lost as well, right? So not only winning games.
Oof.
So yeah, you can copy correspondence games into the notation, and then you can see if it says ICCF email or email, it will let you know that this is the correspondence game. Okay, so the game that Kasparov lost, so you can see that Kasparov basically was unbeatable in tactics, of course, and his opening prep was just absolutely insane, right? So the way to beat him was only if you catch him somewhere in the opening. Otherwise, you will not beat him at all. And the guy who was beating him quite often was Kramnik. And the reason for that, because Kramnik just had like an equivalent opening prep. All right. So let's take a look at this game real quick. Okay, so here, this is from year 2000. So I assume you guys know that Kramnik won that match by winning 2 games and making 13 draws. All right, and this one was one of his wins where he didn't really play any of his moves by himself. Pretty much everything here was the opening prep.
Okay, next game, guys. This is the game Kramnik Kasparov from their World Championship 2000. White to play. Well, we can take twice on e6. Queen takes e6, then rook f7. Then what are we doing there? 95. Take.
All right, so I see that you guys are having ideas like bishop e6. All right. Which is
Makes sense.
which is a good idea. Okay. But first, you need to go bishop f6, and all of this was Kramnik's prep. All right. So why bishop
get it.
f6 first? Because now, if knight takes, well, then you have bishop e6. Okay. The difference was, but then you may ask, what if bishop f6? And I think, actually, I can't quite remember what was the plan here. Bishop e6, f3, queen e6. No, that doesn't work. I think it was something related to knight b5, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, I think something like that. And I remember distinctly that it was still Kramnik's prep, because knight d6 is coming, knight e7, d5, wow. So like lots of things. But here, Kasparov, I don't even know how he blundered. And basically, this position is just not really defendable. Because here, after queen d4, basically black just loses after knight b5. Okay, here knight b5, which is pretty easy. I feel like if you pose this position as a question, then knight b5 is foundable really easily. Yeah, knight b5, and then the point is that just the knight joins at the end, and this is pretty much the end. And here, of course, all of us can do smothered mate, right? Knight h6, queen g8. All right, I hope you can do it. Okay, then yeah, this is just the end. Not sure why did I put question here, but basically, after rook f8, yeah, just knight d8, and then queen e7 finishes the game.
Wow.
Because of king g8, then just knight e6. All right. Okay, so when you study Kasparov, I know a lot of players actually were telling me that they haven't learned much from Kasparov, surprisingly. Well, the reason is because tactics, it's all tactics and opening prep. All right, but still, I would recommend studying Kasparov and just familiarizing yourself with all the ideas that he played, and also like doing opening research and comparing that to the modern chess. You definitely want to do that. All right. Thank you everyone for being here and for attending this class. And yeah, stay safe, and I'll see you guys next time.